Hey guys, so today what we did was take my client's hair a lot more light. And so if you guys want to see the results, definitely keep watching this video. I'm gonna do a talk through and show you up close and personal what we did in a little bit. So we brought up a lot of her hair, her balayage, but we foiled it, so it's foil-ayage. And then I had to go back through and then resaturate. And then also when I went back again, I did the ends that were already previously lightened. So we already took out one panel of her foils, which I started in the front center because it does get the brightest. It's kind of on at the same time. It's just like the resaturation and then like the way you apply it. So I always start in the front. It just gets very awkward when you're trying to rinse out. The hair is gonna get compromised. I'd rather left it on longer than I normally would, but I just still am testing limits as far as getting people as light as I can, but also I have to go slow because if I do it too crazy, then again, we're gonna end up with some strings. It's really hard to tone that. So I did leave a few of her pieces off in the previous time that she came in because it was just way too hard to weave it all, but it will add some pretty tones. It won't be too orangey or anything like that. It really does make a huge difference if you do the video that I posted last, which was the Malibu C pre-treatment, whether you do crystal gel or CPR. She even was saying how light her hair got, even her natural hair. So
I had a feeling that it's gonna get a little bit lighter because of what you did yesterday.
So just to let you guys know, the mineral buildup can have a huge impact on your results. And I got her way lighter this time. And also I wasn't freaked out about any crazy chemical reactions because hair in general is, and when you're doing chemicals, it's a chemical reaction. That's how it does what it needs to do. But we're talking like smoke and things like that. So box is very scary. And then also I'm gonna mention what products I use and what developers, because I noticed I was watching a video and they didn't list what they did. And I'm like, actually, it would be really helpful if I knew what they used. So I used basically one brand as far as the lightener goes, and then I'm still debating on how I'm gonna tone her. Probably Redken Shades of Hue, but I will let you guys know once I go there. Okay, let's get into it. Is tease up and twice if you have to. If they have more of a straight type of hair, it's going to take a few teases to make sure that you get what you're actually looking for, which is something that's not going to create a harsh line. Then you're going to place your foil, you're going to grab and saturate as much as possible. So even though I don't quite saturate it the first time, you're going to keep going until you feel like it's very full, if that makes sense. So very like condensed, I don't know, like just very saturated, however else you can explain that, I'm not sure. You stop once you see the previous lightened hair, you throw that out, you fold your foil, and then you lock it however you lock your foils, and then you're going to move on to the next one. I did have to go back through these foils, so please make a note of that. So once hair has been previously lightened, you do not want to have the darker, newer hair process for as long as the previously lightened hair, because if it goes past the point of no return, then you're kind of screwed without trying to, like, I don't know, sugarcoat it. So you definitely need to do a lot of work, which is why quoting comes into hand, because you do need to quote people on how much work needs to go into this and what system you have to do and technique and all of that. So whenever they are a level 1 or 2, you have to foil and then balayage however you see fit. Basically, the look of balayage is off-root look. That's how I consider it. So right here, you're going to see me tease it. Then you're going to see me weave out those really light pieces like that, throw them out. And then you can just saturate that whole strand of hair, and that foil is not going to need to be touched again. So just keep watching. everything all over again, and you can take slightly diagonal sections. I don't know, I was trying to create a word there, but then you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna saturate everything that you need to, and this is not fast forwarded. This is just how fast my feathering goes towards the top, because you really want to avoid any type of creepy line that's gonna show up. Even though you're teasing it, it's just like an insurance policy. You could still get it, so definitely make sure that you try to avoid that as much as possible by feathering towards the top. Then you just flip all that hair in and go to town with the lightener. Again, I came back and resaturated, and it was like a funky, like bright orange color, but there were some holes in it, which means that I did not saturate enough the first time. So you have to like just be very aware of that. But it does happen, and you kind of, that's why it's good to go back in each foil and see where everything lies. Just because one foil looks really good doesn't mean they all look like that. So definitely make sure you check each and every foil. That's what I do. Definitely figure out your placement. Basically what I did is I would skip a section if it looked like there was a good enough amount of dark or a good enough amount of previously lightened hair, and then I would skip it, and then we'd go to the next one and then start a new section, and again stop if there was already previously lightened hair and go from there. So that is basically why it's so strategic, and you have to again quote accordingly because it has to be worth your time, money, and product. So in the back, what I do is slightly horizontal sections, and then I do diagonal back, and I weave it a ton so that when the dimension is needed, it's gonna take all of the hair that I left there and give that darkness to it, so it'll like enhance the brightness, if that makes sense. So you want to be very careful with how you weave and how you go about this, because it will either be too saturated and too blonde or too light or whatever, or you can not put enough. So it's like definitely trial and error for sure, but that's why I weave it. Like I do a little tiny microwave, but then I skip almost like a half an inch for leaving the hair, and then I do that again. So just pay attention to what I'm doing there, and then you tease it as the same, and then you just foil it and go about your business. Now comes time to resaturate with the same or higher volume, just depending on what you feel will work best for your client, and then also to actually apply on previously lightened hair. So what I'm doing with her previously lightened hair is actually, let me remember, hold on, 10 volume. Okay, so I placed 10 volume on her previously lightened hair, and then I put a lot of 20 volume on her reactivation. So again, this actually is a gray area. A lot of stylists don't believe in putting a higher volume on a resaturation. I kind of think it dilutes it because there's already 10 volume on her hair, so it just depends on who you are and what you want to do. Again, go by manufacturer's instructions, go by what you know, go by all of that, and you have to keep watching the hair. You have to keep checking elasticity. This is your responsibility, so it's no one's fault at the end of the day. It's just yours, and or if you didn't pre-treat correctly. So just FYI, this is just more of a disclaimer because I don't know what kind of hair your client has and or what your client has on their hair. So I know what my client has and how I'm going to keep a watch on it the entire appointment. So this is, again, all up to you. This is what I'm doing. So I'm going to go through each foil. If I left hair out of the foil, I'm going to re-put bleach on that. And then also if it looked very bubbly or just like still bright orange or something like that, I'm going to resaturate it. So basically I resaturated everything unless it just looked really pale light and almost like an inside of a banana, but not quite. So with her texture and her level of hair, I was pretty astonished with how light I did get it in a short amount of time, and I will list all of that in the video as well, but check the link below or check down below for all the information. 18. JK, JK. 18. You're like, what's that? I'm so excited to see this dry and then toned. Yeah, toner isn't a thing. It's just what we call it. So it's actually going to be demi-permanent hair color.
Okay.
So it's another thing that like a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes even hairdressers don't even get it. They're like, this toner, blah, blah, blah. We're like, homegirl, it's demi-permanent and you have to do it on dry hair for it to really work.
Because you can't really see the color when it's wet.
Yeah, like I said, unless you're like, boom, clear, you know, then you're like, okay, like for instance, like also, so whenever you tease the hair, this is a secret that a lot of hairdressers don't know. So that's why I'm putting this in the video, because we're taught that shampoo opens the cuticle, conditioner closes it. So if you notice, I only shampooed your hair, and if we're still gonna tone and basically color your hair, why close the cuticle down when we have to open that back up? True. So it's like when you don't know. Yeah, see, it's crazy. There's certain little things. You could always watch the video later too, and then.
Yeah.
Did you say you wanted to do hair?
I did, but it seems hard.
Not anymore. So if ever you are concerned on whether you're seeing yellow or orange, or are you seeing red orange or yellow orange, whatever the case is if you dry the hair, you actually will have such a better time toning, because wet hair is so devious. I don't know. Deceiving. Okay, sorry, I blanked on that word. Then you want to get the hair completely dry, and also too, if you look at the Redken's instructions as far as shades of cute goes, because everybody uses that for toning, and again, it's a demi-permanent hair color. It says to dry the hair and apply it on dry hair and process for 20 minutes. So can you fully till I dry the hair and express tone it at the bowl? You can, but you want to know exactly where the hair is. So if you have if you're working with lighter hair colors, then yeah, you can get away with that. But if you're working with all these different tones, and like how I exposed all her U-melanin and femelanin and all that jazz, and it's just like, I mean, what color is happening? You want to get that on dry hair, so then you can really assess where it lies and also how to tone it down. So that is where you want to dry the hair. Okay, so her hair sometimes is deceiving. So basically, if you see mine must be a little bit orangey right there. This hair could potentially be pulled off as a level 9, but I feel like that's not realistic. So what I'm doing is I'm going, let's pretend like it's a level 8, and in order to neutralize, it needs to be a level 7. I have mixed up PMV with Redken Shades of Q. So that's what I have already ready to go. And so that is what we're gonna do right now. Remember, Redken is a demi-permanent, and it does work best on dry hair. So if you're finding that you do not get the results that you think you want, you definitely start drying the hair if you're doing it all wet. Remember, it's not gonna do anything to her kind of like orangey color, but what I know is going to happen is it's such a light amount of hair that it's all gonna blend, and the warmth is not gonna take over her overall end result. Do that, and then go ahead and comb it. We don't have a shadow root on yet, but we will, just to diffuse the very top. Just keep that in mind as well. This does process for 20 minutes. You want to tone light to dark because the light needs to happen first, and then if you see it, there's some spots that do need to be toned differently, then you go back in with your darker color. And this is 4 ounces, by the way, so I doubled up since I know she has a lot of hair. And we will see if we need to mix more. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of her hair, and then we're gonna let it process for 20 minutes, and then we will find you again. Okay, so now we did have to go remix these 7 formula, so I'm gonna keep going with that. While I was back there, I actually mixed up 6 tea, so that's gonna take care of her ends that just didn't lift as much as her upper, and they're all blend with the, I suggest you get the Wow comb. It's pretty awesome. So I can actually link the website down below. I think you just literally go to their Instagram and do it. So I will look into that for you because it is life changing. You definitely need it. So remember, start with the light. I'm just gonna stop where I think it needs to be a different formula. We're gonna do the back. Comment down below if you have already in the past toned on dry hair, so that I know where everybody's at, because I think so many people are not doing that, and then a lot of the clients just aren't happy, and then they're texting them back and all that jazz. So it makes a huge difference. And so already you can see the toner is working. I hope you can see it way over there. But basically, it looks dark when it's all wet, but it's doing its job. And when she first came out wet, it was like, BAM! So definitely you can already see that it's working, which is so fun to watch. This is the welcome. So it has this little rolling that makes it to where it doesn't steal all the product. Like if you use a traditional wide tooth comb, it kind of brushes out your product and you're like, ooh. So this kind of just rolls over it so that it doesn't mess with anything. So remember, this is darker, so it will definitely take over. If we did get 7P on wherever it needed to be a little bit of a more tone of the 6T, it'll still do its job. So that's why, but you want to do the lighter first because you don't want the darker formula first, so since it won't do anything. And everything's gonna flow nicely. They're only a level apart, probably like 15 minutes, not even, because it took a while to apply. And this is how you apply toner correctly. If you're just doing it at the bowl, again, don't be astonished if you're not getting the results that you want because you're not sectioning it just like you would a color. So keep that in mind. Girl, I'm so excited. It's no more creepiness. It's gonna look so pretty dry. Okay. Oh, getting old. You just aged me. No, I'm kidding. Gosh. Like I was young until I started doing hair. I might not like it. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you soon.